We all know that being independent is an amazing, thing to have. It's good to be independent. It's good to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. It's good to be able to think for yourself, make your own decisions. But sometimes people go a little too far. And that's when it becomes negative. And what this is called is hyper independence. And a lot of times you hear a lot of people like, I'm independent, I don't need nobody, I don't need no friends, I don't need nobody, I can do everything myself, all of the rah. And sometimes I look and I'm like, I get what you mean, but really it's actually a response to trauma. You're traumatized and you need some help. You're thinking it's okay and it's a good thing, but really it's not. There's a big difference between being independent and being hyper independent. And in this episode, what we're going to be going through is understanding how it even comes about, how it actually impacts your life in a negative way, and how to also overcome it. So without further ado, let's get straight into the episode. Hello guys, welcome to StudentOfLife podcast with your host Akwesi Pepper. Thank you very much for being here. So like I said, what we're going through today is hyper independence. Most of the times how hyper independence tends to come about is usually through childhood. Everything that happens to you in life, it doesn't happen for any reason. The way you are now, you're not like that because of that's just the way I am. No, you're like that for a reason. Something happened to you along the way. Either it's a good thing or a bad thing. Something happened to you along the way that made you who you are now. So it's always important to ask yourself, why do I behave the way I behave? If it's bad, why is it I always do that? Why do I always have this nasty attitude? Why am I always, why don't I like these things? Why? The big question is always why. And if you are, really good at something or your positive thing, also ask why. Because it helps you to understand, the good things, that you encounter along the way that made you into who you are now. So you also, have that balance and understand the good parts of you and the bad parts of you, your strengths and your weakness, and how to, balance it all and how to, grow within that. Okay? So with hyper independence, what happens most of the times is people tend to, go through childhoods where their parents most of the time wasn't there for them. They have to take on really big responsibilities as a child that they shouldn't have taken. They were maybe financially, they were the breadwinners of the family from a very young age. So if they don't bring anything home, nothing happens. So from young, it's if it's all them or nothing. Those maybe went through parents or families that just was not there for them or they couldn't rely on. So most of the time, if you feel like you can't rely on even your family, they're not there for you, or the things maybe you should have, had for as a child, you wasn't able to get it. You always grew up thinking well, if I could even get it from the people that should have gotten it from, what makes you think I'm going to get it from the people that don't owe me anything? If you are a hyper independent person, these are some of the things, that you will see within yourself and you're like, yeah, I am. So if you, just tick the boxes for you. The first one I would say is you always feel like you don't need anyone. Even the most closest people to you, you call your friends, you call your family, you always feel like you don't really need them. You don't open up to them. Most of the time, they don't even know what's happening in your life. They're just, there, and it's just vibes, that's it. Number 2, I would say you always have a hard time being vulnerable. So letting out your emotion, letting out how you really feel in front of people, you don't. You will hold it back. You just let people do whatever they do, and you easily just cut them off. All the rest is that you block them. Instead of talking about that, showing, your emotional side and everything and being very vulnerable to people, because you feel like you can't trust people with that side of you. Because you feel like they're not vulnerable, they're not reliable for you to show them that. You don't trust them to show them that side of you. So you rather just, exit them out of your life instead of, actually being vulnerable in front of them. The third thing I would say is you find it very hard to even ask for help from other people, because you always feel like me asking for help from these people, you feel like a burden. You feel like you're worrying them. Which sometimes you're not, because they actually love you. But because of the way you are, the way your mind is programmed to be, because of your hyper independence and things you've gone through in life and your traumas and stuff, you naturally always feel like you're a burden to people if you ask them for help, you're telling them your problems and stuff. So you just shut off from doing that at all. Say the next one is you find it very hard to open up to people as well. So when it comes to even people trying to get to know you, you are like a brick wall. There's only a few things you're willing to tell people. The other stuff that's more deeper to you, really who you are inside and how you really work, you feel like you can't trust anyone with that part of you. So people find it very hard to even, get to that, literally getting to know you. They feel like, damn, this girl's got a brick wall, she got this water. And I'll say the next one is most of the times you are the one that they put in the box of you're the strong friend. Yeah. You're the one everyone comes to, everyone tells their problems to, everyone's supposed to ask for advice, everyone is, here, there, this, and that. And if you tick at least 3 out of, out of 5 of these boxes, yeah, you are hyper independent. You are hyper independent. And trust me, I want to tell you guys my story. Yeah? So for me, this is actually how I was before. So I'll say it's only been about a year now that I'll say like I will say I'm not hyper independent. I'm more of like just independent, not hyper independent. So I've overcome that trauma, but it took me time. So even like, I remember the time when I first started my course back in uni, my course was very, very needy course. So I was just always stressed out, but I was okay, like, it's just part of uni life, And I was also going through a lot of things as well personally that was just very disturbing. So you're going through this very stressful course, and you're also going through a lot of stress within your personal life here, and you're not telling anyone about it. Like, you're not opening up to anyone because you feel like you can't really trust people. You have friends around you, people you're cool with, people that you're around all the time, but you don't even tell them about anything that's going on. You just keep it all to yourself. That was me. And I did that because I felt like I can't trust people with my emotions. I can't be telling people my personal stuff. I can't be telling them, this is how I feel and stuff like that. I can tell them that the surface stuff, like, oh yeah, the course is too stressful. Oh yeah, I'm just stressed because of the course, That's it. But really, there's more deeper things like that, you're not telling people you're going through. And that's not a good thing. And 9 times out of 10, it's not because, you feel like, these people have done you any wrong. Most of the time, they're actually trying to help you. They actually want to help you because they can see there's something wrong, but you are blocking them from that help because you feel like you're always asking yourself, like, why did they want to help me? Why are they trying to get to know more of me? Like, are they going to use it against me later on? Can I even trust these people? You always just feel like something is always coming. Somebody's always trying to come against you. It's like there's like an agenda against you, even when someone is not, because of the things you've gone through. And this is again like it's a trauma response. It's a trauma response, and that's something I went through. And looking back now, that time I thought, nah, it's just where I am. Like, I'm just really just don't trust people. Like, that's just what it is. Like, that's where life works. When I look back and I'm like, nah, that was a trauma response, and I was really being hyper independent because of the things I've gone through. I'm so glad I'm out of it now. And one thing I did recently that really made me realize, like, damn, like, you've really overcome this. Was actually just like a couple weeks ago, where so you guys know I'm writing a book. Which I've now done, but I needed somebody to do a cover. Now, I'm an artist myself. I design all of my artworks, my podcasts and everything. So my book cover, I could have done it myself. But then, as I was, thinking of, my book cover, how I wanted it to be and everything, and I was planning out how I'm going to do it, I just sat down and I thought, like, why do you want to do it though? I just thought to myself, but why do you want to do it yourself? And the answer I gave to myself was because, because I can't really trust anyone to really do it for me because people are just not going to understand my vision. And I just asked myself again, but why do you think no one's going to understand your vision? There's people out there who are like you, who think like you, who are creative just like you. And there's people out there that are definitely part of your tribe that will understand your vision. So why do you automatically think no one will understand your vision? And I had to just tell myself, like, nah, this is that hyper independence thing you're doing. You think you can do everything yourself. Yes, you can. You can do it. This thing you want to do, you have the knowledge and the skill for it. You can't do this cover yourself, but you don't have to do it yourself. And right then, I started, looking at people that can do it for me, asking, like, does anyone know anyone, I was able to find somebody. And it didn't even take me that long to find somebody. And this person I was supposed to work with to create my cover, they was able to understand me, my vision, everything. Like, I'm not telling exactly what I'm looking for, exactly it is that I want to do. They were able to create it like that. And it took, a lot of, like, back and forth and things like that, editing things, changing from this to that. But they got it at the end. I got exactly what it is that I wanted. And I looked at it and I was like, right there, if I decided to do everything myself right there, to me, I look at it like it's growth. It's growth right there, because before, I would have done it myself. But this time, I'm not. Like, I've done everything myself when it comes to my podcast up to now. But then I was like, nah, you can do everything yourself, but something you gotta really start creating a team around you. Or you're gonna have a burnout. And that's something, personally to me, something I've gone through recently that's helped me to understand, and even overcome my hyper independence. And now I see my growth now. And for you to overcome this thing, always ask yourself why. If you're doing something, or you're going through something and you really can't ask people for help, or you can't go to other people to kind of bring the ideas and you guys can work together, but you feel like you want to do it alone, ask yourself, why do you want to do it alone? Like, why? If it's not that you don't have the money to pay the person to do it, like you really don't have the money, you can't, so you have to do it yourself, that's different. But if you can pay this person to do it, this person also, you can't find people who, who really will understand your vision. Just go maybe, search a little bit, really just search, really nitty-gritty searching. You can find people out there to understand your vision. Why do you then just want to do it alone? And that's when you realize, like, nah, I just want to do it alone because I just don't trust anyone to do it for me. And that word, not trusting anyone to do it for you, that's a trauma response. Why don't you trust anyone to do it for you? You're not the only person who knows how to design. Like, this is a question I had to ask myself. And that's why I had to literally ask myself, and then it helped me to understand, like, nah, yeah, let's come out. Like, you have to ask yourself why. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to tell people this? Why do you feel like you have to go through this alone? And once you're able to, answer yourself those questions, you really and start realizing, like, damn, nah, I don't actually have any good reason for it. It's because literally, I just feel like I can't rely on people. It's literally a trauma response. You're going through hyper independence, which is negative, is toxic, and you need to come out of that. And another thing I will also say is you have to get used to being uncomfortable. That is so important, because this whole stage of coming out of that hyper independence, it is going to be uncomfortable for you. And like me, I have overcome it for the past year, but I still have moments where I'm kind of, sometimes I'll be dipping and dabbing into it. So every single time you see yourself like kind of going backwards into it, ask yourself, like, okay, I'm going to be a bit uncomfortable, because getting someone else to design for me was quite uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable, sometimes that's where the growth is. And that's why I encourage anybody, that is going through this to do. Start getting uncomfortable. Start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And start asking yourself, the people that, what kind of people do you have around you right now that make you feel seen, make you feel heard, make you feel a bit more comfortable, make you feel like, when you're talking to them or, you explain something to them, they don't make you feel like a burden. And if everyone around you makes you feel like that, it's time to change your circle. It's really time. Because clearly the people around you also are not going to help you with your growth. But if you have, one or two people around you, like, now when I speak to this person, they actually don't make me feel like that. It's just me in my head that always be thinking that. They actually make me feel my heart. They actually listen to me. They actually give me time of the day. They're actually willing to, help me when I need something. They don't make me feel this way. Then it's time for you to, start getting closer to that person. Start finding ways to open up a bit more, having more greater conversations with them. Because it will help you. It will help you to understand, like, wow, like, it's part of the growth. Literally, it's part of the growth. And it's really, like, the most important part. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And until you can do that, it's really good. You're going to basically find it really struggle to come out of it. It is not positive to be hyper independent, to just run around and say, I'm independent, I don't need no man, I don't need nobody, I don't need no friend, I don't need no family member. We all need each other. Trust me, the world is so connected. Everybody needs everyone. We need to have a team around you. One thing I feel like right now, like in this generation, is that we don't have a sense of community. Everybody wants to be alone. Everybody wants to do their own thing. And in some cases, in some situations, yes, you need to be alone, you need to isolate, you need to do your own thing. But there's times when, no, you need a team, you need a community. You need a people around you that you understand where you're going, a tribe. Find your tribe and find your people. And for me, right, that's where I am right now. Like, I've come to this point where I'm like, nah, I don't need to do everything alone anymore. I don't need to feel like I'm alone. Like, I have a boyfriend who's very supportive, like, supportive of everything. I have friends around me that really root for me. And right now, I'm literally just creating a team around me, even to do with, like, what I'm doing here, like my podcast and everything else, who really understand my vision and willing to, like, help me get to the next stage and the next level and just grow together. And trust me, a year ago, I didn't have that mindset. I was still in the mindset of, nah, I'm doing it alone. I'm doing it myself. Anything, it's just me. But now I'm like, nah, that's not even the right way to go. Everybody needs somebody. We all need a community. We all need a team. If it's 2-3 people, that is a team. You don't need thousands of people around you, or like, 15 people for it to be a team. You just need a few that you can really count on. And that, again, comes from you getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Coming out of that comfort zone of, wanting to just sit in that space where you feel comfortable just being ice and being alone all the time and doing everything alone. Because in that space, there is no growth. And without no growth, you are just stagnant in life. And this whole life that we're living is about learning and about growing. And I encourage you to step out of this, like, you heard my story, you've heard, like, how everything has been in this episode. Use that to, like, encourage you and to motivate you to come out of, wherever is, whatever stage you are right now in your hyper independence. And I wish you good luck, because I know it's not easy. It is not easy coming out of it. I mean, it took me a whole damn year. So it's not easy. but it doesn't mean you can't do it, because if I've done it and I'm better now and I'm doing much greater things with it and I'm able to, you know, re-understand certain things and come out of it, what makes you feel like you can't do it too? I'm not better than you, you're not better than me. That means you can do it as well. You know, that's all I just try and do every day in all my episodes, just to give you guys something that you can actually go out there and we just practice and really help your day-to-day life. And if you know anyone, you know, who is hyper independent, who does, you know, have that thing like, you know, I just spoke about right now, your friend, that strong friend that you had that's always happy, always smiling, nothing's ever wrong with them, send this to them, because trust me, most of the times there's a lot going on with them that you don't know, because they're not opening up about it, because they just feel like they need to go through it alone. We all need someone. And I just hope, you know, that you guys are able to understand that with this episode. Thank you very much for staying all the way to the end with me. I'm super grateful. Wherever you're listening to me from right now, do not forget to turn on your notification, so every time I drop a new episode, you are able to listen. And if right now you're watching me on YouTube, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm super grateful to have you here. Do not forget to subscribe, you know, share it again with your people. Don't forget to comment. And if you have any suggestions of anything you would like me to talk about in the coming episodes, you can leave it down in the comment section below as well. All of the links to my podcast and everything, social medias, everything is in the description box. So click on that and you find me everywhere. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Mwah.